Yo, this Sonnet Modern Skills, the best digital skills training platform in Nigeria. Yo, in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the basics of website design and website development. So at the end of the training, you are expected to start making cool money, start making passive income designing website for clients. Start making at least 100K in a month handling big web projects for clients. Yes. So, but before we proceed, let me first of all introduce you to basics, to background, to understanding the foundation of website design and development. Yes. Having said that, what is this website we are talking about? So before we proceed, let's first of all understand what a website is. So website is just a collection of web pages, different web. There are many web pages that can make up a website. There are many web pages that can make up a website. So and it is always identified by a common domain name. Yes, a website must be identified by a common domain name. So that whenever visitors want to visit such websites, they always have a name, just like a brand name. So, like you want to talk of google.com, that's a domain name, our own soneskills.com. So, any website out there has a unique domain name, a common domain name which can be identified, through which it can be identified. So, there are many types of websites you can think of. You have website for blogs, you have website for WooCommerce, that WooCommerce website, you have drop shipping website, you have job website, you have membership website, you have online course website, you have online marketplace website, you have podcast website. In fact, there are many. They are many. I may not be able to mention all of them here because of time. So what you just want to understand in this website is just that a website, you just like any type of website there is meant for a purpose. So for you to develop a website, you first of all have to understand what purpose the website is meant for. If it is a business website, then you actually know how to design and the structure and the features to suit the business purpose. So that is that about a website. Then let's go to the next section. Well, what does website design mean? What is this website design we're talking about? Website design just more of creating the aesthetical look of the website, the interface, creating the visual interface of a website, design the visual interface. Whenever you visit any website, the visual look of that website, that is the work of a website designer. Yes. So the visual look is more of the visual. So since website design is more of visual look, aesthetical look, it means that there are other skills that may be needed. Yes, that may be combined for you to bring out the full art of website design, and that is when this graphics design comes in. Graphics design is always needed in designing a very nice looking website. That's when you're talking of creating slides in a website. You use graphics to design all kinds of graphics, talk of logo and rest of them. So all those skills and others are needed to combine in order to bring out the best of website design. So what web development is? What is this web development we are talking about? Web development is just like building, creating, and maintaining website. It includes other aspects like website design, web publishing content, web programming, and database management. So it means that for you to be a web developer, you have to go beyond designing websites, designing only the look. So it combines all that features. When you talk of maintaining the website, you talk of writing programs, you talk of managing the database of a website. If you're able to do all these things, then you are fully a web developer and a web designer. And the good news is that at the end of this training, you can beat your chest and say, yes, I am a website developer, I am a website designer. Yes. And you can start handling many projects. You may be surprised at the number of clients that will start reaching out to you as long as you're able to, do put in what we are going to teach you in this training. So it means that before you start, or before you call yourself a web developer, you must be able to know how to write many code, many programs, think of the PHP, the C++, the Java, and rest of them, HTML, and all those things. So, but now the technology is making everything easier, that you must not necessarily really need to learn all those programs, all those programming language before you will be able to develop a responsive website. And that is the main interesting part of this training. We are going to guide you how you can bypass those programs, writing of code, teach you how to develop website without writing any single code. So that is the most interesting part. You must not learn all these codes before you start developing website. So stay tuned. Then before you bring up a new website, there are some little things, there are major things that must come together before you start building, developing, designing website. So the first thing that must come in is the domain name. So before you start developing, before you start designing, before you create any website, the domain name must be in place. You must bring out a name, maybe just like thinking out your brand name. Yes, you can see our own brand name here, which is the domain name is sonnetskills.com, www.sonnetskills.com. So that is the first step you should take before you create any website. If you are creating a website for yourself, lie down and think a very unique and interesting domain name. Or if you are creating for your client, the client should be able to give you. If the person is unable to give you, then you can suggest for the person. That's what makes you a website designer. The ability to think out very interesting domain names. So for you to create any website, you must first of all bring out the domain name. First, think out the domain name and know if it is registered or not. So then the second thing is the registrar. The registrar is just a company where you register your domain name, just like registering a business with the Corporate Affairs Commission. First of all, you bring out the business name. If the business name is still available, then you proceed to registering it with the Corporate Affairs Commission. So the same thing applies here. Once you've confirmed that the domain name you chose is still available, it has not been registered, then you can proceed to any registering company, any domain name registering company, and register your domain name. So there are many registering domain name registering company out there. You talk of the Namecheap, or the Bluehost, HostGator, Abolihost, and many of them. They are countless. Cannot count all. So just choose any one. At the end of before the end of the training, we'll be giving you the best company that will suit your needs. So let's proceed. Talk of the hosting. The next thing that will help any website to come in place is the hosting. No website exists without the hosting. So it's just like a launcher. For you to be able to use your system or your desktop, you must have an operating system. So the same thing applies here for any website. Even if you've registered your domain name, you have fully registered your domain name, that domain name cannot be launched as a website until you host it. So hosting is just like building a room where you store your website's data, files, and once those files are correctly put in place, then the website, your domain name, can now be called a website, and it can now be accessed publicly to view all the data, the content you put in place. So that is that about hosting. Then I believe you've understood some necessary things you need to put in place before you start designing your website. There are many others, but This one is just the background, the major things you need